Hey there, greetings. I was just realized I hadn't turned on my side light, and I was going to be shadowy on this side of my face. Didn't want that. Didn't want you to have to put up with that. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Random Encounters with me, your host, Stan. For those of you who are here for the first time, maybe, uh, this is a show where I use random encounter tables like you find in most tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, and I use them to create cartooning prompts. Usually they have a little D&D flair just because that's been such a big part of my career. Maybe one of these weeks I should spend the first 15 minutes telling you about my career. Um, and you get to watch me draw it. I don't know what it's going to be until we roll the dice, literally, electronically, literally, and so it's improv cartooning. What fun! Anyway, we're here every Thursday evening at about 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is right now, and then we're on tape forever because it's the internet. So there you go. That's what we've got going on here. Um, that should be a big surprise to only people who've never been here before. Otherwise, this is exactly the same as last week, only with a few different prompts. Hopefully, it'll be as much fun, if not more. Ta-da, says Linnea, you made it. The warning bells went off. You were able to get told that I'd gone live. I'm live, and I'm glad you're here. So yes, here we are. Second week in September already. Year is just flying away. This is the 21st episode or 22nd episode. I think it's the 21st episode. Crazy. This time just flying by. And hopefully I'm getting better at this as I do it more often. Anyway, let's put that to the test. Let's get right into it now. We're going to switch over here to a different camera view, and it's got our who and what, our random encounter tables for the week. Still have a couple of those back to school ideas that didn't get used last week here, and then a few others in the mix. So let's do I told you we're going to roll dice. Literally, we've got an electronic die roller. And as I do every week, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, third time's a charm, once, twice, third time is a charm, and 2 is our first what? Which is a pixie. Pixie. Interesting. This is the first time I put pixie on the list. First roll, it comes up. So what is our pixie going to be doing? That's the question. What? What? Once, twice, third time's a charm, 1. Low numbers this time. Pixie at school lunch. Yes. When I put these lists together, I look at them and I think some of these go together really well, and others might be a bit of a challenge. And I thought Pixie and School Lunch could be a bit of a challenge. But you know what? The dice are fun. They seem to have a mind of their own. They know when there's a challenge, and they often will deliver it to me and to you, because that's how it goes. So here we go. We are going to come in here, and I'm going to start sketching with Pixie and School Lunch. Now, those of you who are new do not know, I do my sketching in blue, just a tradition that I have held over from my days of doing physical media, where having having things be blue was part of the printing process. So I'm going to get a little pixie here and a big tray. A hamburger and an apple carton of milk. I think we're going to have to shrink that down a bit in order for it to make sense on the page. But then I'm going to zoom right in. You can't tell a difference, but it's definitely is a difference. You know what? I think we're going to have another pixie over here. So it's an awfully big tray for one pixie. Okay, and then I'm going to take these and move them over. I need to make this part of, I feel like I need to make this part of a gag. I don't know why. Got the school lunch woman sitting at the cashier at the register. Maybe make these guys a little bigger because that doesn't seem to be the appropriate size for a hamburger comparative to our lunch lady. There we go. That's about right. Okay, we got a nice little sketch there. I think you can see we got to just kind of get the idea of having um, a cafeteria. Not sure exactly what I'm going to have her saying, but I think that the gag is in this image. So I invite you folks to think about what, if I were to give her a word balloon here, what I might put in it. Think about it. I'm going to think about it too while I do some drawing. So the idea, as goes on this show, is to do this whole thing quickly, so I can get 3 drawings done in somewhere between an hour and an hour and a half. So we're gonna come in here, zoom in. And trying to just get the idea. Now, because they're small, although it's zoomed in, the lines are still thick because that's the size it's going to be when all is said and done. So it's a little bit of a challenge deciding how much detail to put in. You know what? Here, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here, though. For the wings, I'm going to do one wing on, well, one pair of wings like that. And then I'm going to use a different color. I think to give the idea that they're in motion. I'll go back. I'll give puffy sleeves to this fairy too. Or pixie, sorry. I consider them to be genderless creatures of Fae. Again, we're going to give one set of wings in the initial drawing, and I'll add some more to make it seem like they are in motion later on. Clearly, it's Burger Day. Hello, Nancy. Glad you could make it. Thank you for taking some time and joining me here for this for my show. And we got them there. They're certainly going to give them a little bit of motion wiggles. And come over here to our cash register woman. She is not a genderless creature of Fae. She is an employee of the school district. Oh dear, have I done? Oh no, good. For a second I thought, oh, I forgot to switch layers again, which is always bad. When I don't switch layers and I draw on the line with the blue, then it just makes things more difficult for me. Okay. I am, for those who don't know, drawing all of this on my iPad Pro with the app Procreate, which is what I do all of my drawing, my professional drawing and my fun drawing. I do all of that with this machine and this program. This show is not in any way sponsored. though I'm open to the prospect if either Apple or Procreate would want to sponsor me. Why not? Uh, I I really like both the machine and this app. They make it very easy to do uh, digital drawing. All right, so we've got her there. Give her. Don't know why I decided she needed a big head of curly hair, but she sure has one. Now, part of this, you see, I'm actually given some 3D aspect. I often do a lot of flat drawing because perspective is just something that's difficult to do quickly and do well and quickly. But, but sometimes it's just important to do because it makes the whole thing, it sells the idea better. I also don't often put in much background, but just to get the idea that we're in a cafeteria and this is a school lunch. Thought I ought to. There we go. Don't need that. I would put those in. So what I was trying to do is create the idea that there is an angle here. But I looked at that and said it really isn't helping. It looks fine as it is. Okay. So we've got our pixies. I'm going to thicken up these lines just a little bit because I've noticed that when I pull back, they just don't feel like they're in the same drawing with everything else because I did their lines so faintly. But I can't go too thick because they are just tiny little genderless creatures. All right, so that is about all we really need for the drawing. I'm still going to encourage you all to think we've got an empty word balloon here, which I'm going to fill in with something when I'm done with the drawing, and you have a chance to have a strong influence on that. If you're thinking about what it is she may be saying to them as they come flying up with their tray of food. I don't have any great ideas yet, which is why, I'm glad to have you guys around. You can help me out. But if it comes down to it, I'll have something. All right, so I'm going to turn off this blue sketch line. I can look at what I've got, see if there's a couple of spots here I can add something just to help make it look right. Again, the blue is there for sketching, but it can be deceiving sometimes when you look at how things are going in the drawing and the blue is giving information that will not be there after the blue is removed. All right. There we go. Looking good. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of color. Hello, Quinn. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so far so good. Our first drawing prompt here today is pixies at school lunch. And as you can see, this is the drawing I have. I don't know if you just walked in. You may have missed what I was saying a second ago. I am going to add a word balloon at the end. I don't know what's going to be in it yet. And I'm hoping that you find folks in the chat will help me figure out what is a good thing to put in there. All right, so when I do my coloring, I switch. I use a different pen. This pen is, I don't know why it's called gloaming, but that's what it's called on the Procreate app, and it creates um, a line that has a quality that's somewhere between a magic marker and a crayon, which I find is very helpful. Why do I find that helpful? Well, that's a fine question. I find that helpful because I can do quick coloring. Ooh, yeah, they're so small. I need to reduce the size of that. And um, it it still looks good. Again, if it's got that um, that crayony markery style, then this quick coloring still seems appropriate. All right. I'm going to pick some interesting sets of colors for our pixies to be wearing. They've got their own sense of style. And let's just put a quick thing there. Now, I said I was going to go back in and add color to give the wings a feeling of motion, and I'm going to do that here. I'm going to go back to my inking pen, which draws that full line like that, and I'm going to put in kind of motion lines to give the idea that these wings are not just sitting still. Like that. If I was doing more detail on them, I might actually go in and draw the the um, the wings with uh, more detail entirely, but doesn't seem. Oof, oh, you know, it's the wrong thing. I want to go back to the gloaming for this. Uh, and now I've forgotten exactly what I was saying. Oh well, doesn't really matter. Pick colors quickly, just add them in. We've got maybe a blue tray. No, I think we're going to go for more like a gray, industrial gray tray. And then our cashier person here. And I can quickly pick colors and put them in like this. And again, because it's this gloaming brush, it has that semi-transparent feeling to it. It really helps me, helps the drawing feel good, despite the fact that I'm not really filling things in completely. In fact, I'm being kind of sloppy about how I do it. But it adds to the it adds. Why is that happening? No, you don't know why I asked that, and I don't have time to explain. But I'm not getting exactly the results that I'm expecting here. There we go. And we're going to use that same gray from the tray. Is that the same gray from the tray? No, it's not. I'm going to grab it then. And see, one of the things that you get when you've been drawing a long time is you get a very quick sense for what it is you want to put there. It's not always right, and that's part of the what you get from having done this a long time too. Is you put something down and you realize, no, that's not what I wanted, and you very quickly can decide to go and try something else instead. I'm going to make the brush a little bigger here because the area I'm drawing on is bigger. And even bigger, bigger here because the area is even bigger. Let's me cover it. You cover it in fewer strokes. It just has a more purposeful feeling. Are you guys thinking about what might go in that word balloon? Because we're almost at that point. I'm just going to add a few more things in here. So now we've got some nice flat colors on that, which look pretty good. But I found what helps a drawing a lot, even a quick drawing like this, is if I come in and go to each of the areas, each of the important areas, and take the color that's there and little darker version of it, and it makes it pop. It's like I've gone in and done full-on shadows. But of course, I mean, I haven't. It's, as you can see, I'm just kind of slapping things together. But that's kind of how you fake it. One of the things I say this all the time when I'm working with people who are learning to draw. It's not important that you get it right. It's important that it feel right to your audience. And your audience, if they think it feels right, will just believe that it is right. So there. I mean, that hair kind of looks like curly hair. It's got some depth and poof to it. But you've seen all I did was go in there and add in some squiggles like that. But it feels right. Oh, what else? Where else do I want to add a little bit of that? Here. So again, you take the color you have, you make it a bit darker, and then you find a spot where a shadow might be, and you add it in there. Like that. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And under here. See how it kind of gives it just a bit more of a 3D look? It feels, it's got more, um, more depth, more, just a little more visceral. Do that here. I've realized I want to put that on the side to, again, give that 3D-ish feeling. And here's another thing I want to do, which it doesn't matter, but it will make me happy. I'm switching pens back to my regular drawing pen, and I'm going to make it a thinner line. And I'm going to put some numbers on there so it feels like it's a digital cash register, just like that. All right, so now we've gotten that time. Hello, I'm looking up and seeing who's here. Hello, Lala. So now we're at the time. I'm gonna turn on that sketch again. We see we've got our pixies with a school lunch, and they're coming up there, and the lady's looking down at them, and I've got a word balloon for her to say something, and now we're wondering, anyone have any ideas? And it says, I keep thinking about uh, making a complete lunch green beans, but it's a la carte at $5. That's that's you know what, it's similar to the lines that I'm thinking. Uh, um, it's the gloaming, the special Robbie Burns tool, making all the trunks poetic. It's a good way to look at it, Linnea. I do all this in this stream this fast. Oh, thank you, Quinn. You know what? That'll be 9:50. Yeah, it's. Um, I think. So here's what I'm thinking, and you guys can tell me how you feel about it. I'm thinking something like. Uh, make sure I'm drawing on the right layer. Something like. Uh, I gotta. I gotta charge you both. Right? It's not. They can't. It's not. They can't. No splitting meals. Like. Right. No. No splitting meals. I gotta charge you both. Now, it wouldn't. I'm not going to stop with that. That's what's in my head. I'm liking this idea of if you added green beans, you're doing something. You know that's that'll be $5. But if you add green beans, I can make it a meal. That's a good one too. I like that idea, Linnea. Uh, right. So. Hmm. Hmm. I will go quiet as I think, and that makes for bad radio, as they say. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with Linnea's idea. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my blue layer and turn on the blue thing, and I'm going to write out, say, uh, That'll be $5. But if you add a vegetable, I can make it a meal, and then I would put extra emphasis on that. So I'm going to. Here's another bit of just kind of technical stuff. I think this I'm going to grab that and move it up just so it fits a little better, and then I can come back and go to the lines layer, and we're going to do this here. And I'm going to be a little more careful as I write. You know what? Let's make it even higher. That'll be $9. But if you add a vegetable, I can make it a value meal. And then we're going to get the idea that it'll just lower the price. Right? And then we're going to come around here and we're going to put the line in, and I'm going to turn off the blue again, and there we go. Let's put a little stand at the bottom here. And we've got our Pixies at the school lunch. Ooh, zoom out a little so you can see it. That'll be $9. But if you add a vegetable, I can make it a value meal. Good job, folks. We did it together. All right. So there we go. That is our first drawing for the day, and I think that turned out pretty good. Let's close that out. I'm going to open up round 2, so I'm ready to go there, and then I'm going to turn on the tables again so we can choose a second one, because I don't want to just start with one. I really don't want to stop with just 2, but let's start with 2. So let's see what we get for our second. You know what? Timeout. Need to refresh. Everyone having a good night so far? So yeah, as I said earlier, right, I'm shocked to realize that this is the 22nd episode of this show already, and things are going good. We're getting more and more folks showing up live each time, getting more and more people watching it on replays. Got a few regulars, a few new people. It's like it's like a little community. I love it. I encourage you all. I didn't do this at the beginning. I encourage everyone that comes in. Bring your own pen and paper at home, or your own drawing pad, whatever you like to draw on, and just draw along with me. It doesn't. Don't worry about whether it's the same as what I'm doing, or as good as what I'm doing, or might be doing better than what I'm doing. But just kind of draw. This is all about drawing for the fun of it. That's why I make a game out of it. Right? I don't know what it's going to be until we all show up and do it together, and then it's a little game. So, having said that, let's move on. Let's go and back to our dice and see what we get for our second prompt for the evening. Once, twice, third time's a charm, and 3. I've got a 1, a 2, and a 3. What's a 3? What's a 3? 3 over here is a dragon. Okay, that could be interesting. We're certainly not going to have the problem of the things being too little, like we did with the pixies, or the challenge. Not. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to take those little guys and make little creatures and make a drawing out of it, as you saw at the beginning, right? That's now we've got a dragon is going to be big, but we'll see. We'll see what the dragon is doing. What is the dragon doing? Once, twice, third time's a charm, and 2? Is that the same thing? That's thrift shopping. A dragon thrift shopping. Yes, right now there is a Facebook page, though I realize that I really should make it. Lala says I can create a Facebook group or a Discord server where people can post their what they draw and share it along, and I highly encourage that. I'm not gonna be making a Discord server anytime soon, though. Maybe towards the end of the year, I'm looking at doing a bunch of things and using Discord as a solution for them. But there is a Facebook page, but I should make a group. The page, there's several problems with the page already that I can't fix because of the nature of pages. Right now, if you go to my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, which is Stanex, Stannex, and look there will be a connection somewhere to the Random Encounters Facebook page. But like I say, I think I'm going to be closing that out and making a group or transferring it over. Should make a hashtag too. We can all look on Instagram. You know, that's a really good idea. I haven't been using a hashtag for these, and that would help out a lot. You are 100% correct, Quinn. Thank you for that. I'll figure out what I want to use and have that for next week. See, you're having a big impact already. All right, so here we go. We're going to have a dragon thrift shopping. So I'm going to turn off the tables, come back to the sketch layer with the blue pencil of the inking kind. And we're going to have a dragon thrift shopping. All right, so I have a pretty good idea what I want to do here. I've got a pretty good idea what I want to do for the dragon. I don't know how well you can figure out what these lines mean a lot to me. Like, I've got a very good idea of what I'm drawing. I don't know how well you're seeing what I'm seeing here. But let's see. What else do I want? Does the dragon have horns like that? Should it have a horned dragon? Or maybe a horn on its nose? Maybe all three. Why not? Let's get extravagant. Okay. So, believe it or not, that's enough sketching for me to get going here. I'm going to get moving. Now, as I always say, you want to, when you're drawing, start with, oh, no, what did I not do? I didn't get off that line, that sketch layer. You want to start with lines that you're confident in. Because as you're drawing, it's invariable you're going to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. If you were watching that last drawing, which I'm pretty sure most of the people in this chat right now were, you saw plenty of times when I was erasing things, where lines would appear on the page and then disappear. That's because I use the back button or I grab the erasing tool and uh, I got rid of the mistake that I had made. So you're always going to make mistakes. The reason you want to start with lines you're confident in is when you erase lines, you've then got to carry on with what's left. So you want to have something that even if the next line you make is something you want to erase, you still have something to work with. I'm not 100% thrilled with how the dragon's head is coming out, but it's not too bad. All right. Dragon's holding up a shirt here. I don't know if you can hear the people out in the park across the street from me. There's a dog park across the street from me, or just outside the window that I sit in front of while I do these, and sometimes it's very quiet. Sometimes it's full of people or dogs uh, doing things I'm not even sure about. Like I can't see the people who are making the noises right now, but they're making some goofy, animalistic, grunty noises, and I don't know why. Here's a question. This happened the last time I did a dragon. Um, does it dragon have to have wings? I know I certainly had my theory that they didn't, but then people were looking at the drawing that I'd done and said that's not a dragon. It doesn't have wings. So to save that problem this time, I am going to give it wings, but I guess the wings would go over the back ridges. Like that. Okay. Then here, what all these lines are about are the other things that are hanging at the thrift store. What do you guys think? Do dragons have to? If I don't put wings on it, does it still count as a dragon? I think a great dragon should have wings. And if I draw this thing and I don't give it wings, and then what is it if a dragon needs wings? I know that D&D players would have certainly a particular set of answers. What do you guys think? here. I'm going to do one more. We set things up like that. I know I want to give my dragon some nostrils. Alright, now I'm going to turn off the sketch layer so we can see how things are looking just with lines. Pretty good. Okay. And now I'm going to go to the colors layer. I'm going to come back and turn on the gloaming brush, which I like so much. What do you think? Red dragon this time? Red dragon? Dragons have wings, otherwise it's a dinosaur, says Susan. Possibly. Possibly. But what if it's not a dinosaur? I mean, it's clearly not any real dinosaur. I don't know. Let's say people feel very strongly about this. As it turns out, I don't feel that strongly. It's just an interesting question for me that was raised last time, but I was wondering what you guys think. All right, we're going to come in here. We're going to start putting color in our dragon. I mean, these days, dragons still are clearly reptilian. These days, everyone knows that dinosaurs are much more bird-like. I couldn't possibly be drawing something with this kind of coloring and that scaly body and call it a dinosaur. Dinosaurs have feathers, don't you know? All right, I'm gonna take a lighter color there. Nope, a little lighter than that. Put in there. I'm gonna take a yellowish color for his belly. And I'm gonna take a dark color for his horns, which is going to include these back spines, you know what, and the nose horn too. And then I'm going to come in here and get all the clothes racks. Now here's the fun part. I'm going to color the different clothes that are on the line. I can pick a whole slew of colors for the different clothes. Just grab some fun colors. And then what color shirt should the dragon be looking at here? Uh, Maybe an orangey yellow? No, that's a little too close to. So I want something that's gonna go well with the red and yellow is the color of the dragon. So I want something that's gonna be different from that. Maybe a purple. Okay, now I'm gonna come in, and remember we're talking about doing shadowy colors. So I'm going to come in and do that again. So I'm going to grab that, get a darker version of that red, and then I'm going to add in some shadows around different parts of the dragon to create that feeling of depth. I'm going to do actually the same thing for the horns. Get that color a little darker. There we go. And just create the idea that there's a little cast shadow, even if shadows don't really work that way, and it helps. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take these teeth and make them stop being pure white. That was bugging me a little. Now, if I put a line, a little darker line under each one, it just makes it feel like it's casting a shadow. All right, and so we've got that, and now I'm going to come back up to my lines layer, and I'm going to have the dragon. Well, you know what? I'm going to come up to the sketch layer, and in blue, so that we don't mess it up. I'm staring at this, and the balance on the page is a little off. Here's another fun thing you can do. I can grab grab all the layers and move them together and move it up so that it's kind of centered on the page. That's better. And then I come in here and oops, make sure I'm using the right pen. It said, "Aw, rats." Nothing in my size again. That's my joke. Sorry, I didn't ask for your input this time, but I saw that I heard that one in my head. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what it's gonna be. Hello, Marianne. Thank you for joining in. So many nice people. And Penny's here, I see. Hey, Penny, thanks for coming by. I feel so good when people join in. All right, so we're gonna. Aw, rats. Nothing in my size. Now, for those of you who haven't done cartooning before, or maybe are feel you don't have good penmanship, you can just do this by dropping text in and use any of the fonts you want. But I like the feeling that I spent a lot of time learning to do lettering, and I may not be great at it, but I'm okay, and I like doing it. I think it gives the cartoons, particularly these quickly done cartoons here, they work better than putting a using a font. All right, so we're going to close that, and here we go. There's our second drawing for today. We've got a dragon. No, you know what? I'm going to come in. I didn't give the dragon's eyes any color. I'm clicking that. Make the color about the same as the shirt. That's why the dragon is so happy. Found a shirt that goes with his eyes, and not in the right size. It's trouble thrift shopping. All right. Oh, rats. Nothing in my size again. So, yes, I'm sorry. I'm going to look at what's going on. I'm so happy. Not people are here, and you're chatting with each other. This is awesome. Let's see. Uh, So Quinn says, on my website, getting an error bar. Yes, my website is broken right now, which is why I mostly point people to my Facebook and my Instagram. Um, Facebook, my website is a work in progress. If I was better at redesigning websites, it might go faster, but it's not a high priority. So actually, I've been thinking that what I really should do is create just a static image that says closed for repairs so that people don't get too confused there. Um, let's see. The shirt's going over the shirt's going over the wings. I don't know. I don't know. He's a dragon. He'll make it work somehow. You're asking much too realistic questions for a dragon in a thrift store. Um, Facebook groups are nice, but breakout chats can be annoying. Yes, Linnea, you are correct. Based on group member feedback, I just cleared out a chat on a group I manage. Oh, well, there you go. Anyway, awesome. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. We still got plenty of time. Um, this was our dragon in the thrift store. Before that, we had pixies at the school lunch. And now, I'm going to turn on round 3. And then turn on the tables. And we'll come back for one more time. So we're going to go back to our... Oh, undo that. We're going to come back. We're going to go back to the dice and see what the dice have to say for our third drawing of the night. Here we go. Once, twice, third time's a charm. 5 is our who, which is a goblin. Okay. So we got a goblin. What is the goblin doing? Let's find out. Once, twice, third time, 2. We already did 2. We just did 2. The 2 was a thrift store, thrift shopping. So, what I do when we have a repeat is it's kind of, up for grabs. I get to choose, or you guys in particular get to throw suggestions out. I've got the bonus board with ideas, so I've got traffic accident and a UFO or wedding as potential, but really any old thing. What do you guys think you might like to see for our third drawing? We got a goblin as a who, so what should that goblin be doing? Pickleball, says Linnea. Goblin pickleball. That's a good suggestion. Um, that's I'm thinking about pickleball. You know, I never actually played pickleball. I was a big tennis player when I was younger, and I've played a lot of table tennis and racquetball, but I've never played pickleball. I've watched a bunch of it on YouTube and on other sports TV. Looks like a lot of fun. Another vote for pickleball. It's two pickleballs and a ping pong. Yeah, ping pong table tennis. Um, um, all right. Well, pickleball. Let's let's have a goblin pickleball. Hmm. All right. Turn that off. Turn back to the blue. Have the right pen, and let's figure out how we're gonna do this. Now, I'm gonna zoom in just so I'm not thinking about that. So pickleball, I know, has a net the way other things do. It's a relatively small court. And let's see, well, I have to do it like that. I know it's a squarish paddle like that. I think we're going to have, we go back and who is the goblin playing? That's what's going on over here. Something really big. Something really big. What? I could make it a dragon. Let's see. I'm musing while I do a little drawing here. I've got most of this is already enough for me, I think. Erase that for a second. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want this thing to be. Maybe just a demon. Okay. Hmm. Now, for the joke to work, I probably want to select the whole thing and flip it so it's going the other way. But then I'll want to change the angle. How does that look? That looks pretty good. Again, there we go. That, though, will make me want to change this. I don't know why I there's a lot about drawing that it's easier to draw something if you have a feel for the physicality of it, or at least for me anyway. Um, if I know what it feels like, or I think I have an idea what it feels like to do the thing, it's easier for me to draw it. And that means that when I'm drawing this goblin, I just switch that around because I am right-handed, and I'd drawn the goblin without really thinking about it, uh, swinging right-handed before, and when it got turned around so he was swinging left-handed, I just didn't feel right to me. I didn't know what to do with that. Which I don't have to have it that way. I just have to think about it more. My mother uh, was left-handed, and she always used to talk about how the world is built for right-handers, and she's right about that. And I feel like right now I'm helping make that be so, but it's more difficult for me. All right, that's enough. Let's come in here and start doing some drawing. Again, I'm going to start with a line I feel confident in, which right now is his mouth. Hmm. That's not going to work because this arm is going to come through here. And we've got a goblin with big goblin ears. It's not really very happy, this goblin, but such is a goblin's lot in life. Pickleball paddles have holes in them, right? Mostly. Am I wrong about that? Let me know if I'm wrong about that. I think it's a table or tennis court played with a. It's it's uh it's about half of a tennis court, not actually a little bit more than half of a tennis court, and it's played with a wiffle ball. But the paddles are unlike anything else. They're flat. They're hard, like a like a paddleball paddle. They're not stringed, um, but I think they've got holes in them. have him playing against this big demon creature that just has to stand there, and the ball bounces back because he's so big. Like that. And we're going to have the tail back there like this. He's just a big demony goo. The ball comes back over here like this. Oop, now the ball, I know I can do this. And if I hit the way Procreate works, if I draw something that's even vaguely kind of round, I can make a perfect circle by just touching the screen, holding the screen after I'm done. And put this down. Let's give him little protrusions and stuff all over his body because he's a big demon guy. Now, our goblin is not very happy about that. Oh, come on. Again, see, by just putting that little extra under the eyes, it makes him look a little more demonic. I think we're going to make him green. He's going to be like a pickle demon. The goblin versus a pickle demon in pickleball. You have look on up here. I see Linnea has 0 info on pickleball, but you suggested it. Were you hoping that this would also be a tutorial on pickleball for you? Is that what you wanted, Linnea? Well, to some extent, you get a little bit of that, because I know just enough about pickleball to be dangerous. All right, let's do some colors on here. Now, in D&D, goblins are always an orangish color. It's one of those ways you can tell the difference between different settings and IPs. IP being intellectual property. They have different standards. like in Pathfinder and a lot of just general mythology, you might think that a goblin would be green. But no. Goblins in D&D are orange. Our pickle demon, on the other hand, Linnea, the fact that she didn't know anything about it, Linnea's answer is, well, I knew it was trendy. And so trendy enough that that's what we're doing. Interestingly, I bet that when I post this, if I give it a no, I need a good pickle color. There we go. When I post this, if I put it up and use a hashtag for pickleball, I bet that this is one of my drawings that gets the most views this week. Now, just to give the idea that we're looking through the net, I'm going to put the colors in sporadically like this. A little smaller. There we go. Pickleballs. Maybe yellow instead of orange. I'm not sure what color they're supposed to be. I bet there's a wide range of it. Pickleball seems to have taken a lot of the things about tennis and added in the ability just to make it whatever color you want. And um, add a popular fashion aspect to tennis, which otherwise is pretty. Although there is tennis fashion. And let me tell you, having grown up playing some competitive tennis, I know a lot about tennis fashion, at least tennis fashion of the 70s and 80s. I know a lot about the people that care a lot about tennis fashion. As someone who really cared about playing the game, I didn't really care about the fashion. But there were a lot of people around the clubs. The fashion was all the game was kind of secondary. People played this game, sure, but tennis is about wearing the right clothes. All right, let's add this in here. And I think we'll give our maybe red. So we'll give our goblin an orange paddle to go with his orange skin, but maybe red's a better color. The pickle demon, of course, is going to have some kind of green. And we'll use purple to delineate our big hits. So I put the lines in, but they disappear once you drop color on top of them. Here we go. We got a. I don't really, I thought about coloring in the the surface, the court surface, but doesn't really matter. I don't think it'll help really. In fact, I think it will make things less clear. So I'm going to leave that undone. But what I do want to do is have the pickle demon. Come on. Come on now. Har. Har. Be over here. Just to keep it centered, all centered together. Har, har, har. See what I do? Even not only I was saying before that it's important that you're able to feel what you're drawing, or it's important for me, or it makes it easier for me. But also, I like to say out loud when I'm writing things. I do my own soundtrack while I'm drawing. Har, har, har. Oh, come on. Come back here. And underline on the come on. Oh, come on. All right. And we'll stick a little stand down here and say that we have a goblin playing pickleball against a pickle demon. So there we go. That's pretty good. That's a good Thursday evening's work. Fun. It's a work. What kind of work is this? Let's see what's going on here in the chat. The fall festival sumo wrestling would have been funny. Maybe we'll do that in the future week. Lala. No specific knowledge about pickleball, says Dave Lemon, but the wiki refers to the kitchen. Yeah. There's a lot of terminology. Let's say I have watched a fair amount of pickleball. Again, because I'm a racket sports guy, it's fascinated me. I haven't gotten out to play it, for a lot of reasons, mostly centering around my bad knees. But I'd like to get out and try it. But I've certainly paid attention enough to have the basics of pickleball down. But this whole kind of I know it's a hard paddle, but I don't remember exactly what it looks like. I know it's a wiffle ball, but what does it look like? A regular? I don't remember, because when I think wiffle ball, I think of the wiffle ball we used to use when we were doing the baseball version of wiffle ball. Anyway, Tatiana. Hello, Tatiana. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you could make it. Tatiana says to be playing pickleball for the first time next week. Well, then you can come back next Thursday. Please, Tatiana, come back next Thursday and tell us about pickleball. It's too late to save this drawing, but you can help us all gain in knowledge. So, having said all that, we'll look back one more time what we've done over the past hour or so. And we just did a goblin playing pickleball. Before that, we had a dragon doing thrift store shopping. And before that, we had pixies at school lunch, getting school lunch. All determined using the random generation. Didn't know what we were, and at 6 o'clock when we started, I had no idea what was going to happen. This is what happened. So I want to thank everyone again for coming along and joining me for this. And if you're watching on replay, I want to thank you too for coming in and enjoying it. I hope that you're getting, well, clearly, if you're watching this, you're getting some entertainment, but I hope it's making you feel like drawing is just a fun thing to do. And it's a fun thing that you should do too. You can find me. The best place to find me these days probably is Instagram. As was pointed out earlier in this show, my website is currently down for all intents and purposes. You can go there, but it won't do anything. Finding me on Facebook, which is also StanX. In fact, most social media you'll find me on, that thing at the end there, STANNEX, StanX, that'll be me. Most of the time. So you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter and on Blue Sky. I think on Twitch, I'm Stanex Stan, because someone had already taken Stanex. But yeah, so join me there. All of the art that I do, that I release publicly, will wind up on the Instagram. So it's a fine place to go to make sure that you see my stuff. If you really want to be sure that you see my stuff, and you want to join my community where, as I was saying earlier, I'm trying to figure out some ways to do something which probably is going to end up being Discord. You may want to join my Patreon community. And depending on what level you join the Patreon community, you may get things. Well, certainly, no matter what level you join, you will have my thanks and my attention. And you will get exclusive emails where I send you all of the things that I've drawn, so you don't have to worry about finding them when they're released online, whether the algorithms show them to you or not. I will show them to you. And you'll get them in high res too. Also, if you join at other levels, some of my patrons get stickers sent to them in the mail several times a year. In fact, I'm just getting ready to do a mailing. There's quarterly stickers for one of the levels, and I'm going to be mailing out my third quarter stickers in the next week or two. So that'll be exciting. But I say, you don't have to do that. Although, if you want to help out and support me and help me to be able to spend more time focusing on projects like this and other drawing projects, then whatever I get through Patreon definitely does that. I understand that this is a tough time in the world, and not everyone has extra money to throw around. So I want you to know that I do almost everything released publicly. As I was saying before, Instagram is a great place to find that. In the meanwhile, I'm going to be signing off here, but it would help me out a lot, those of you watching live or on replay, if you could click the like button or the thumbs up or the heart, whichever platform you're watching on. Everyone who's giving comments, that helps out a great deal. Subscribing to my channels, again, not asking for money, but if you could click subscribe, that's a big help to me. And of course, telling your friends if you think this is entertaining and you think they'd enjoy it, and you think that I'm the kind of person they might like to hang out with every once in a while, or at least just see what I'm drawing, then pass it along. Let folks know. I'm trying to think. I don't have anything else to promote right now, but there are a couple of projects I'm doing which should be going live in the next few weeks or month that I can promote, and you'll hear about it here, where we'll do some more drawings next week on Random Encounters. So again, thank you everyone who showed up. Thank you, Lala, always, for coming and helping to wrangle the chat room while my head's down over my drawings. Thank you to Linnea and Dave and Gus. And thank you to Quinn and Tatiana. Thank you for showing up. Who else was here? Susan and Marianne and Penny. There are probably some other people I'm missing, and I know there are some people who didn't chat and were just kind of watching, and that's fine too. I'm happy to have you here. I hope you all will come back and join me again next Thursday. Until then, take care and do a little drawing, just for fun. Bye.